What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we are jumping in with more Destiny 2 news and updates. So in this one we'll cover a few bits of new information from Bungie, issues that they're still tracking in the game, as well as a couple of new and emerging things this week. Of course, Grandmasters are now live, but there are a couple of bugs with featured content this week. Also some funny glitches, missing Act 1 steps, and in addition to that we'll speak about some upcoming activity content later in the episode. And one of those things will be an elaborate puzzle of some sort, so there are a few interesting bits to talk about today. Before we get into it though, you guys should be taking your online security seriously. You probably wouldn't go out while leaving your house unlocked, right? And the same applies to your devices, which is why this video is sponsored by NordVPN. Nord is the leading global VPN option, which creates a virtual location for our devices, allowing us to access content anywhere in the world, but also protecting us against DDoS attacks, which can disrupt our connections when gaming and compromise our security. But Nord is more than a VPN. It also features advanced tools like Threat Protection Pro, packed with features to secure against phishing, where bad guys attempt to steal passwords, malware like viruses or password attacks. Plus it even has a dark web monitor, which scans known databases and immediately alerts us if our data has been compromised or shared to the wrong people. Even if you're careful online, it's very easy to leak your personal info. So right now you can unlock an exclusive NordVPN plan with 4 bonus months for free by heading to nordvpn.com/houndish. It's a great deal which unlocks the most powerful VPN and security tools online, so be sure to hit those links below, and thanks to Nord for sponsoring the video. First up from Bungie, a couple of updates here, and Bungie have been speaking about fixing the monolithic memento from Salvation's Edge for quite a while. Somebody asked about it again this week, and the D2 team said, "Many apologies on the delay here. There's one extra little thing that we've needed to make sure appropriate players get their goodies." And they'll be following up again on this one soon. They had said that folks who'd completed the raid would actually get one as a make good at Raoul, but no further updates on that one just yet, so I'll keep you posted. Otherwise, Vesper's Host is supposed to be a farmable dungeon this week. It was actually listed in the rotation in the database. And also, when you hover over Europa, it does say there is a featured dungeon there, which should be Vesper's Host, but the rewards aren't reflecting the fact that it is featured this week, so the assumption is that this is another bug, and obviously a bit of a frustrating one for folks who wanted to farm for Icebreaker and things like that. So again, we'll have to see. Otherwise, more amusing bugs right here, and Wintolly on Reddit pointed out, the Starcrossed secret chest is now massive, no idea why, but as we can see on the screenshot, it hardly fits in its cave anymore. Otherwise, related to this week, we did get a new update of course. There's some good changes in there, but ahead of Trials returning on Friday, keep in mind, Bungie have said they've reduced how much going flawless will affect the weekly performance-based matchmaking for solo players, so it should be a better experience. On top of that, Lighthouse passages will no longer be able to be reset from the director if a loss hasn't been recorded on the passage. Plus they fixed issues where the seasonal and lifetime flawless passage trackers were incorrect, and an issue where wins weren't correctly granting progress points towards the ghost drop-in. So at least a few relevant fixes ahead of Trials return this weekend. The final mention for content this week, of course, at the finale of Act 1, the quest that we had last week, we got some side quests that partially progressed the Dreadful Discoveries triumph in the title, and I was kind of wondering whether something secret would pop up in the final 2 weeks of Act 1, as there are 2 objectives with question marks on them. Also, the triumph says we need to complete the side quests linked to Heresy's first act, Echoed Warnings, which would suggest that we're supposed to be able to do this, well, before the end of Act 1, which is only another week after this reset. So I'm not sure if it's bugged, perhaps it's the case that the 3 hive hacking quests we did initially were supposed to unlock all 3 of those objectives. Either that, or there's something else hidden, or Bungie rearranged that piece of content and we're sort of time-gated out of it or something like that. It's not entirely clear yet, but again, something else that I'll keep you posted on. Next up though, let's discuss some future content for episode Heresy that we're now starting to get a better idea of exactly what it will be. So this was shared by Bungie Leaks on X. As always, some of this information comes from the database, other stuff is data mined, so it isn't officially confirmed by Bungie, but firstly there's some details about an upcoming activity for episode Heresy called Court of Blades. Now, this may be the Act 2 mode or something that we'll get later on, but Bungie Leaks suggests that it's a boss rush mode with preparation phases in between encounters. And it looks like combatant difficulty will increase after every other preparation phase, very similar to Court of Oryx from D1. So we'll spawn into the Hall of Souls with a taken altar in front of us, and the altar will allow us to choose a path, either resolve or ambition, and we'll be able to apply runes for the activity, which appear to have different mechanics. So apparently defeating challengers will grant rune progress, and receiving rune progress while not holding a rune will provide 1 rune, but further progress will charge the rune, eventually upgrading it to higher tiers, so there'll be tier 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll be able to consume the rune to acquire court armaments, which appear to be things like Vanguard turrets, taken portals, transcendent pools, and rally buffs. And they say that there are going to be at least 20 different runes, so they'll be able to do various things, including the tactical advantages, but also boons like we have in the Nether, various buffs and perk adjustments, as well as relic weapons like the Hive Sword or Synaptic Spear. On top of that, the indication is that there'll be some specific augment mechanics associated with particular enemies. And these will be sort of special challenger enemies, and we'll have to take advantage of particular modifiers to deal with them, essentially. So it sounds like it could be a pretty interesting mode. Again, it will be on the Dreadnought, which is nice because it keeps the seasonal content pretty cohesive. Plus, on top of that, we know that we'll still be doing some exploration in the Nether on the Dreadnought as part of Act 2. Further beyond that though, Bungie Leaks also indicate there's another piece of content that we'll get later on in the season, which is a Heresy mystery referred to as the game. The spoiler alert here once again, as obviously we are looking at potential future content, and the game will come with 2 versions apparently. One, the middle game, and another which is the end game. Presumably the ultimate version of this piece of content. And this will take place in an unknown antechamber, and it would appear that this will be filled with puzzles. So Bungie Leaks say it seems as though we'll be playing chess against the 9 to essentially unravel a puzzle, which will ultimately reward an emblem called Enigmatology. And we can see from looking at that emblem, it does have a sort of chess theme. So it'll be a sort of additional seasonal mystery or finale event, potentially. We've also been receiving those curio of the 9 items, so obviously the 9 are doing something in the background. Plus there's rumours and speculation about the 9's connection with Frontiers and the upcoming expansions. So between the Act 2 mode, Court of Blades that we're hearing about, this additional sort of puzzle thing called the game, and on top of that, the fact that we know the Dark Blade Strike is reportedly returning at some point in the episode. It's safe to say this is looking like a pretty good content offering for an episode in general. Although, once again, take all of these elements with a pinch of salt until we have further details, but it's looking reasonably promising moving forward. So share your thoughts about it down below. But for today, that's what we have to speak about. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, a rating really does help us on the channel. Also be sure to get subscribed so I can keep you posted with more Destiny content. Otherwise though, I appreciate you tuning in today, and I will catch you guys very soon.
My weapon, my throne. My dreadnought tests you. Guardian knife.
We need to get Heresy out of here!
Invite the horror in. Hold it close. Reach into the unknown. And prepare for it to reach back.